not sure if you know who I am, but I'm about to rule the world.
Wow, yay.
But there's one problem. There's a human, has a mustache, just like you.
Do you think I know every human being with a mustache wearing an identical outfit with a hat with the letter of his first name on it? Because I don't.
We've waited 30 long years to see a really good Super Mario Brothers movie. I had to wait 30 years and 2 weeks. This week on Talking About the Movies, we're finally talking about the Super Mario Brothers movie. Welcome to another edition of Talking About the Movies, and yes, I know I'm getting to this movie a couple weeks late, and that was kind of not by choice, but let me kind of explain what happened. This movie came out 2 weeks ago on April 5th, Wednesday, April 5th, and I was going on vacation to North Carolina the weekend this movie was coming out, so we were already on the road when the movie came out on that Friday, and there was a possibility we'd go down to the AMC movie theater that was down kind of about maybe half hour from where we were staying at to go see this movie, but we were just kind of playing it by ear during that trip, so we never really got a chance to go down there. And so that's why it took me a couple of weeks to finally get to this movie, because I would have gone last Saturday, but we were coming back from North Carolina, back home. And so yesterday, I finally got to see this movie. So after a couple weeks of waiting and a couple weeks of letting the critics come out, the audience's responses to this movie come out, I'm finally going into this movie, the Super Mario Brothers movie, waiting to see if the movie actually is worth it. I know, like I said, I waited a couple weeks after the initial reviews came out. The film got a lot of mixed reviews from people, but audiences seem to respond to it more, and the box office so far has shown that it is a hit with people. It is going to hit $1 billion, the first movie to hit $1 billion worldwide in 2023. And everybody's been this. The people I've talked to say that the movie is actually really, really good. It does deliver on everything it promises. So I went into this movie with a lot of expectations. I had let the wave pass by. Finally sat down and watched the movie, and I'm happy to report that the movie is really damn good. It's a really good film that delivers everything they promised and then some. It is definitely a huge step up from the 1993 Mario movie. It definitely delivers everything that movie did not deliver. This is a really damn good movie. Kind of summing up the Illumination movies as a whole, I think I've done it before in some other reviews I've done, but I'll just run through them real quick. The Despicable Me movies, for the most part, I think are just okay. It says a lot when I think the third movie is probably the best of those movies. Hop was a mostly forgettable film. The Lorax is a terrible movie, despite some nice animation to it. I really like the Secret Life of Pets movies, specifically the first one. Second one I just thought was kind of okay. The Sing movies are kind of surprises. I was not expecting to like those ones as much as I did. The Minions movies, those ones I think I'm kind of on the same page with the Secret Life of Pets. I like the first one. Second one I thought was okay, had some nice animation to it, but other than that, I thought it was mostly forgettable. I really like the Grinch. I like the Benedict Cumberbatch one. Definitely doesn't compare to the animated short we know and love, but I do think it's a little bit better than the live action movie. Trying to think of what else. What else is there that I'm forgetting? I'm forgetting something else here. Give me 1 second. Okay, I guess I did cover everything. So those are all the movies that I've seen from Illumination. That's all their movies from Illumination, honestly. Probably my favorite movies from them have been The Secret Life of Pets and The Grinch. The first Secret Life of Pets and The Grinch. Illumination, I just think, is an okay studio, but this is probably my new favorite movie from them, because really, this delivered so much of what I was expecting. I was expecting them to do something a little bit different from their usual stick, and it definitely is more different than it is a formula for Illumination. Like, you still see a little bit of the Illumination techniques and things that they do, but overall, this is a very, very entertaining film. It very much reminds me of, it's kind of their Lego movies, like Warner Brothers, like the Warner Brothers movies have the Lego movie, and the Peanuts movie, the Blue Sky Studios. This was something that seems so different from what they're usually used to doing, that I can't help but love it, man. I really enjoyed this so much. If there's any real flaws to the movie, I'll start with kind of the obvious. The story is very it's kind of rushed, but I don't mind that at all. Like, I feel like for a story like this, we kind of already know everything we need to know about the Super Mario Brothers. Their origin story doesn't need to be that complex and so filled. I think a lot of people didn't like that the movie kind of rushes itself through, but honestly, I think it works because of that. Like, the movie does rush through a lot of the stuff that you kind of need to know. It's kind of like a Cliff Notes version of the story of the Mario Brothers. And I do like that there isn't this longer story where you feel like it needs to detail every single thing possible and just but it just gets right to what you need to know about the story and everything that you need to really enjoy this film. I think the film does a phenomenal job with that. Could there have been more to it? Probably. But I do think the runtime of just an hour and a half is refreshing. It's a easy pace film, but it never feels like it's vapor. Like you do want to see more of the story being developed, and hopefully that. Honestly, you know what I think it reminds me most of? It reminds me of what they did with Sonic the Hedgehog. I don't think the intention here was to make a classic cinematic masterpiece of storytelling and all that. It was just that this is an example to show that these guys clearly know what they're doing. They want to get an introduction to show people that, hey, we can make great stories off of these characters, but we're going to use this as kind of a launching pad before we can expand this into the next movie. I think that's what the Sonic the Hedgehog movies did. The first Sonic the Hedgehog movie is your typical fish out of water story, but I think what made that movie work was the fact that they made Sonic the Hedgehog a likable character. They made this world very likable, and they knew that if they got a sequel, they'd have a chance to expand on the world that they have to work with here. And I feel like that's what a lot of this movie does too. I think a lot of this movie works because it's a launching pad for what the studio could eventually do with future sequels and spin-offs. I mean, they're already teasing stuff like Yoshi is mentioned in the in the post-credit sequence that he's going to be a major character in the next movie. So I'm definitely looking forward to see what they could do with future movies in this series. I think that I like the direction that they're going with this particular setup here. And really, I think that's one of the things that I know a lot of reviews probably are making a big deal out of, that it's not a more complex story and not a more engaging story, but honestly, I think it delivers on everything that everyone wants to see from these stories, especially with the Super Mario Brothers characters. You don't really need to go into this long explanatory story about what the Super Mario Brothers are, how they got into the situation. I think the movie does a very good job of summarizing the story up in the time period that it had. Like I said, they could have added some more to it, but at an hour and a half, I think they delivered just enough to get people invested in seeing what more of these movies down the line, which surely they're going to do more of them in the future. Let's talk about the voice cast overall. Of course, there was the big controversy at the beginning when they announced that Chris Pratt was going to play Mario. I even had a couple little jabs when I made a video about it when the news came out. But as time went on, I was more optimistic about what Chris Pratt could do as Mario, because I do like this. When that first trailer came out, I was a little skeptical, but with every new trailer, every new commercial that came out that showed more of Chris Pratt as Mario, I slowly but surely became more appreciative of what they were doing, because I thought that what they did with this movie with Mario and Luigi, I thought that was very cool what they did. It starts off in the beginning where they show the commercial that they showed before the Super Bowl with Mario and Luigi, and them using the Italian accent stereotype that we've become known to use with Mario. And I think they did a clever job of only using it in specific occasions and not letting it overcome the course of the movie. I think Chris Pratt and Charlie Day did a very good job as Mario and Luigi, and I think they really do have a lot. The cast overall here is just really damn good. I mean, Anya Taylor-Joy as Princess Peach was a ton of fun. Keegan-Michael Key playing Toad was very good. Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong was very good. So was Fred Armisen. Easily the best character in the movie is Jack Black as Bowser. I mean, this is pure perfect casting. This is like casting Robin Williams as the genie in Aladdin. I think it's that good of a performance, and he has some of the best moments in the movie. It's a very strong voice cast overall. The animation just fantastic. Like, the animation in this movie, vibrant, colorful. It definitely shows you everything you'd come to expect for a movie based off the Super Mario Brothers franchise. I mean, they deliver so much in here. And it's interesting this was made by the same team that did Teen Titans Go. Now, if you follow my stuff over the years, you know I haven't been the biggest fan of Teen Titans Go, the TV series, but when it comes to the movies are actually a lot more fun than the TV shows are. Like, Teen Titans Go, the movies, was a surprisingly enjoyable film. Teen Titans Go versus Teen Titans was a really enjoyable film that was on direct-to-video. I've been more of a fan of the movies than I have been of the TV show itself. And it's interesting to see them bring this to this, because their style of humor definitely is in here. In fact, the music choices in here is very interesting, because they use songs like Take On Me, which is actually in Teen Titans Go to the movies. You can tell these guys really love using these songs in here. And some people also had a problem with the music, with the copyrighted music in here, but I thought it worked very well here. I liked the inclusion of songs like Take On Me, Thunderstruck. I thought that worked very well for what they were going for here. No song in this movie that's used in here doesn't feel like it's being forced into it. Some people may think that's kind of a negative towards the film. I could kind of understand that, but in the context of the movie and what the situations were, I thought it worked very well. The Easter eggs in this movie are all over the place. I like the little touches that they have here, like the pizzeria that Mario and Luigi work in is called Punch Out, in reference to Mike Tyson's Punch Out. Spike, the other builder in this movie, who's kind of an enemy, who's kind of a bully to Mario and Luigi, wears a hat that says Wrecking Crew, which is one of the original names of the Mario games that they had. Like, there's a ton of these references all throughout the course of the movie. There's characters from the game that if you aren't very familiar with the game, you probably won't know who they are, but you won't get completely lost if you don't know who they are. Like, you'll see Diddy Kong in there. You'll see these characters. You'll see these minor characters that you see all over the games. The Mario Kart scenes in this movie, even if you've never played Mario Kart and if you have a good idea to it, you could still get a lot of the references that are in that segment here. I think this movie really did deliver on everything they were promising. I really thought that once Illumination got involved here, I thought at first it could go either way. Like, I thought this, but as we heard more and more about what they were going to do, and the fact that Nintendo was more than fully on board with this, behind the production, all that, to make sure they got this right, I got more and more optimistic. Like I said before, this is kind of for Universal and Illumination what the Lego movie was for Warner Brothers, and the Peanuts movie was for Blue Sky Studios. This is a film that is probably going to be the launching pad for some really damn good, impressive stuff coming in the next couple of years. I'm really looking forward to see what Illumination can do with the Super Mario not just the Super Mario Brothers properties, but most Nintendo properties too. I'd really like to see a lot of these Nintendo properties get adaptation through Illumination. Like, I could really want to see a Kirby movie. Like, show some love for Kirby, man. I mean, Kirby, Legend of Zelda, of course, Star Fox, of course, is another one, Metroid. I think Illumination could do a lot of that. I thought maybe with the Dr. Seuss movies they'd be on that pathway. It started off kind of bad with the Lorax, which is one of my least favorite movies of all time. But I think they found their charm with the Grinch, which I thought was a much better movie. I'm really looking forward to seeing what Nintendo and Illumination can do when they work off each other in the future. And I think it's going to be something that could really define their studio going forward. And that's pretty much everything I want to cover about this. I mean, I can't think of anything else I have to say about the movie. I think my only real flaw with the film was that the story was not really that great or groundbreaking, but at the same time, though, you don't really need to do it for a movie like this. You just needed a movie that says, hey, here's how we're going to make these characters work perfectly for the big screen. We're going to make you forget about the 93 movie, which is not a good movie. I don't care what anybody says. Like, it has some elements of decent casting with Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo, but I'm sorry, man, that movie is not that great. I mean, I don't care what anybody says. That is not a great movie whatsoever. So, like I said, I don't think I have any real major flaws to this movie. I really had a damn good time watching this movie. I thought it was an amazing film, visually stunning, a ton of fun all around. It doesn't need to do anything groundbreaking or amazing story-wise to really get you invested. You just want to go in there, have a good time, watch it, and really feel good about yourself coming out of it. I think the movie definitely delivered on that and then some. So, needless to say, I'm giving this movie a big thumbs up. This is probably in my top 3 for favorite movies of the year, right behind Cocaine Bear and Creed 3. Just a really fantastic film that delivers on everything that it promises. I can't recommend it enough. I'd say definitely check it out. we're in a very good time to be looking at these video game movies going forward, because the last couple of years they've gotten so much better. I think that we're in a video game renaissance right now, a video game movie renaissance, I should say. I mean, the Angry Birds movies are surprisingly really good movies. We had Detective Pikachu, we had the Sonic the Hedgehog movies, we now have Super Mario Brothers now. It's going to be very interesting to see where we go from here. Like, what's the next evolution for video game movies as a whole? I'm really excited to see where we go from here. This is definitely one of the really good examples of it. So if you've been waiting for a really good Super Mario Brothers movie, here you go. This is it right here, the Super Mario Brothers movie. I can't recommend it enough. I'm pretty sure you've already seen it many times in the 2 weeks since it's come out. I'm definitely going to go try to see it again pretty soon. I'm really looking forward to checking it out again. One of my favorite movies of the year so far. So that is my review of the Super Mario Brothers movie. I'll try to come back with another talking about the movies next week. I'll try to go see Renfield, which is one I was really looking forward to seeing, with Nicolas Cage as Dracula and Nicholas Hoult. I don't know if it's going to be at the theater next week, but hopefully, I'm hoping for Return of the Jedi, because that's apparently going to be re-released next week. I'm hoping that's going to be playing, so my hope is to get another one of these out there, but if neither one of those work out, the next time I'll probably see you for another one of these videos will be for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, so. But let me know your thoughts down below on what you thought of the Super Mario Brothers movie. Put them in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time for the next review. So thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time, and until then, as always, take care.